phone.
People think that hip-hop's all about bang, shooting, clocking, you know what I'm saying?
Hip-hop is not a state of mind, it's a way of life. That to understand hip-hop, you have to be in our generation. You have to experience the things that we experience, go through the things that we go through.
I feel hip-hop is definitely getting a lot more respect and more recognition, and like you go to New York City, the people on the streets aren't doing ballet.
It's moves that come from all around, like New York, LA, and all those places. They're like street moves, because ballet is like, wah, and hip-hop is like bouncing and stuff like that.
Hip-hop movement to me is anything you can put a move into, like locking, breaking, uptown, b-boy, stuff like that.
It's unique because you could be a trained dancer in ballet and jazz and not have a clue how to do hip-hop.
For me, it's the dance part. That's the part that I love the most. It's the style. It's the beat of the music. It's like powerful. It's strong and it's hitting and it's also releasing at the same time. So you feel it coming to you and you give it back too.
I have 9 dancers and they all do the same movements, but they all look very different doing it because it's a lot of personality, a lot of who you are comes out in the dance.
It's life. It's also an art, but it's life too.
If you don't know who I am, I'm the one who began Off the Curb 7.5 years ago. Yay! And back then we had 2 kids. And to look at all this now, it just blows my mind. So thank you for all your support and all the love you guys have given Off the Curb over the years.
Off the Curb has, national recognition at this point, I think. People know who they are, and that's what's most important. And these kids are serious. I mean, it's not playtime. When they get up there, they're jammed.
It was amazing. It was like being in a dream. Like you're on that stage in front of like thousands of people.
Everyone's packed in there screaming and hollering and the lights are on and the lights are so hot that you can barely see and you're sweating and the music kicked in and then it was just on from there. Just energy, power, everything. So it was fat.
All right, from the top, slow. One time, let's go through it. 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Rehearsals are 3 hours long. The first hour is just conditioning, like body work, low impact. Then the second hour is going over a new choreography. Then the third is rehearsing, either or. But if we're not doing new choreography, we're doing running through everything else and changing stuff, putting people in lines.
Now every time we do this thing, when we go boom, ba, 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 that's where your hands should be, because that's what I'm going to see.
Are my hands like that?
No.
How are they?
They're like,
No, right now.
right now they are.
That's what I mean.
But when you're dancing, you guys do it like, and it's really sloppy. Like this thing, put your hand up. It's not this. It's not this.
It's not this.
It's not this.
See this one? This right here won't go straight. This one go straight. Look at my finger.
Well, it's almost like that, but it's not here, it's not there, it's not. Picking your nose, it's right there. So you can push and keep it clean. All right, let's do it one more time and then it'll be done.
Our no drugs, no violence message is the thing that keeps us going. It's positive, and people love to hear positive things, especially in hip-hop.
The thing that about Off the Curb is they use hip-hop in a constructive way. There's so much negativity in the community or anywhere out in the street about hip-hop now, it seems, because of the deaths of Tupac, Biggie, you know, Big L, Freaky Ty, that Off the Curb takes hip-hop and makes it a positive thing.
The message sort of came out of just what the program was doing. It got the kids off the streets, you know, it took the dance off the streets and, you know, gave them something to do.
People love it. Wherever we go, we always, you know, bring a crowd. Like if we start dancing and no one's really around, by the time we're done, I mean, there's a good crowd.
The way they dance just, you know, relays that message to other kids, and other kids want to know what these kids have that they don't.
I remember when we were in Thompson, my friend, one of my friends, she was telling me that I'm a role model and we're the same age, so that made me feel good.
Actually, when I first started Off the Curb, you would see people like doing it, like more and more, like trying to peer pressure you. But since I've been on Off the Curb for like 2 years, they just like know. Like now it's not even a question in their mind to like ask me to drink because they know the answer's gonna be no.
They can't say you're geeky because you're doing something positive, and if it's one of your friends who are saying that and they think you're being geeky, then I guess they're not your real friends because they're not respecting what you do on your spare time. So if they don't like it, oh well.
Peer pressure, you know how people say you can't resist peer pressure? Well, I think that's a lie. Because it all depends like how strong you are as a person.
My friend was like, come on. I'm like, no, I'm drug free. She was like, just try it. I was like, you mean try it? I tried it before. If I don't like it, I don't have to do it. They're like, you're whack, you're going to do it. I was like, oh, you can tell me what I'm going to do. I was like, I'm not going to do it. I was like, for real, I'm serious. I don't want any. And then after like a few, they quit. And then somebody else comes over to me. Like, they just do it just to mess with my head to see if I'm going to give in. But then I'm not going to give in no matter what.
Not all teenagers, like to adults too, not all teenagers are out there doing drugs and smoking weed and fighting and getting pregnant. There are ones that are doing good things.
They're required to be drug-free and violence-free, and we've had issues here and there come up, and we just kind of deal with them individually, you know. And if it was a real problem, like something that was constant, then, you know, they wouldn't be able to be on the troupe.
Well, I've been singing with Off the Curb for about 7 or 6 months, and I first started when I sang at the Rogers High School talent show, and she heard me, and she said automatically when she heard us sing that she just had a psychic feeling that we were going to sing for her. I had performed twice before I got on Off the Curb, and I was nervous, I was kind of stiff, and she told me that there's really nothing to fear, that I can, like for the first couple months, she told me to block everybody out and just, you know, bug out and and just believe in myself and I could do it, and I did it. And when I first bugged out and did it, it felt so good, especially when we did the Lost Boys concert. That was like, I thought it was the best performance I ever did in my life. I mean, we just blew it up. Trying to pursue it. I want to be a singer for the rest of my life. I want to do choreography with Jackie and singing with Jackie. If it wasn't for Off the Curb, I don't think I would ever be able to sing on stage. I mean, she got me to do choreography on stage, to have good stage presence on stage. It was just, she helped me out so much. I give all my hopes and dreams and thanks to her, you know, for everything that she's done for me. You know, she's a real kind person.
Yeah, she's just like one of us. She's like Mama Jack. If you would call her Big Mama Jack.
We're invited to do the Little Kim concert in Providence, and we weren't sure if we were going to do it because I had just broke my collarbone, so I wasn't going to be able to perform, and Lance wasn't going to be able to perform either.
So all we had was 3 dances, so Jackie decided that she was going to dance.
And there Jackie is right there. She's performing at the Little Kim concert, doing a good job, representing for Off the Curb.
She never really performs. She doesn't think she's a good dancer. Yeah, she says she can choreograph and stuff, but she feels she's not, well, I guess she thinks she's a dancer, but not a performer.
She's a gem. The problem with Jack, one problem, she's understated. She doesn't tell everybody how spectacular she is, so she needs people like us who have gotten to know her over many, many years, who knows she just sits back. She doesn't want the limelight. She puts the kids in the limelight. Creative as could be. Just a phenomenal lady.
Jackie is the choreographer. She's the manager. She works as the agent. She's the social worker there, so to speak, counselor. She plays mom. She plays dad.
I don't get a day off. I don't get one day off because on Saturdays I was teaching, and then we'd usually have performances, and on Sundays we rehearse, and Monday through Friday I'm doing off-the-curb administrative stuff. So I really don't get a day off completely. When I first started, I was just everywhere, doing so much just to get it going. You know, it was constant, like, promotion. I would take any performance just so I could, you know, get the name out there. So I was really all over. And I wasn't taking any money in. So I was making a little bit of money from my studio, but I really wasn't helping financially, and I was out everywhere, so it was kind of a strain on the family. And you performed, you did your one and only performance in Canada, huh?
No, that was not my only performance, my yo-yo performance.
Oh yeah, he did. He opened up Off the Curb show doing his yo-yo tricks.
And the time I did the worm on stage.
Yeah, and I had to pay $5 to do it.
No.
Yes, I did.
You didn't pay me $5.
Yes, I did.
I didn't.
Yes, sir. You were only like 5, though. You don't remember. I'm a mom. I have a little boy and my husband, and I do Off the Curb full-time. When I first went to college, actually what happened was I tried out for the dance program. I didn't get accepted into the dance program, and I was devastated. The worst part is that I didn't get encouraged by anybody, and I didn't have that support. And I think that's a lot of my motivation when helping the kids now, you know, and so it's important. These kids that I have, some, you know, half of them have really good supportive families, but the other half really don't, so they don't hear it from anyone about anything, you know, so that's important to me.
Well, in 9th to 10th grade, I was hanging around with the wrong crowds. Like, I used to do all that bad stuff, smoke weed, drink, and do whatever. And I used to try to be bad in front of everybody, to like try to get all the attention towards me, to make me be the cool one. And so one day, I fought this girl over this stupid reason.
Well, she told me that she got into a fight and that she was suspended from school, but then a friend of mine who works for Stopover called me and told me that she beat this girl, like beat her. Like the girl had to go to the hospital and was having migraines from the beating that Allison gave her. Like, she was kicking her. She almost beat her up until she was unconscious.
I got arrested.
Wow.
So they tried to expel me and everything, and so I told Jackie that I got suspended. And already then, like in 9th grade, I used to like hang around Off the Curb and do things, but I would never like perform or nothing. I used to like sometimes take classes, and I told Jackie what happened, and she got mad. And so one day I was over at my friend's house, and I came home, and Jackie had called me. She was like, "Let's go to the supermarket." And I was like, "All right." So we went to Shaw's.
We started talking about it, and we just really got into it, and I told her how serious it was and how she really, you know, she needed to realize how serious this was. So I talked her into having counseling through Stopover, and we went back to the office and we wrote a letter of apology to the principal, and to the superintendent, and to the dean. And she told them that she realized, you know, that this was the wrong thing to do, that she just lost it, and she was apologizing for it, because they were actually thinking about expelling her from school and pressing charges.
They told me that if I had not wrote that letter, then I would have got expelled from school that whole year. And so really, if it wasn't for Jackie making me write that letter and her talking to me, telling me all that stuff, then I probably wouldn't be graduating this year.
And I think after doing all that with her, she realized that, you know, I was really there for her. And so after that, we became a lot closer. And she started, you know, really getting into dancing and being part of Off the Curb more and more.
That's when I think that's when I really started, like, thinking more about life and stuff, like how I really want to live my lifestyle. After I wrote those letters, not really, after I got the letters back from the people I wrote to, they made me like, that really made me realize what I had.
She's got amazing patience, so I would actually have her lead warm-ups in the different classes, and she's gotten to the point now where she actually is probably one of the best teachers as far as patience and getting beginners to really feel comfortable doing the hip-hop.
The kids I teach, I have my own class at Sullivan Elementary School, that's in Newport, and I have a class at Off the Curb Junior Hip Hop. And these kids are from ages 7 to 11, and they're all good kids.
You know, at first it was like they were skeptical and they really didn't want to do it, but you just got to go in there with a positive attitude and let them know that they're doing a good job.
The real dedicated ones were like, to me it seemed like they were like the troubled ones. Like they always be in trouble and they would just always get suspended and everything.
We talked on a personal level. I don't ever make it like, I'm a teacher, you're a student.
I started to them like step by step and by counts and in their head to count, because if they don't count then they won't be on beat. So now they count and they know how to do it.
I first started off teaching kinderfunk, and I was like 5 and 6 year olds, and wow. All they wanted to do was play Duck Duck Goose and ring around the roses and stuff. And so I was like, well, actually that's a good idea. So I used to play Simon Says with them, but with dance moves to get their attention, because other than that they would just run out, grab water, whatever they wanted to.
I think I just added, you know, another positive person in their life, and you know, at that age, that's what, you know, the kids really need. It's just as many positive figures as possible.
From Newport, Rhode Island, working to get kids and young folks 10 to 18 off the streets. That's why they call Off the Curb, out of violence, out of everything else. Without further ado, I'm going to give to you for their third set. They got one more coming after this, and they have been fantastic. From Newport, Rhode Island, New York, give it up for Off the Curb!
Turn me up a little bit. Yo, turn radio. What you know about it? What you know about it? I said a hip hop, the hip it, to the hip hop, and you don't stop. I rock on, baby, bubba to the boogie, the bang bang, the boogie to the boogie, the beat. Now what you hear is not a test, I'm a rapping to the beat. It's just me, the groove, and my squad. We gon' try to move your feet. See, I am the Dr. Spot, and I like to say hello to the black, to the white, the red, and the brown, the purple, and yellow. But first, I gotta bang bang, the boogie to the boogie, say up jump, the boogie to the bang bang boogie. Let's rock, rock. You don't stop, rock the rhythm that'll make your body rock.
Off the Curb is off the hook right there. Off the Curb.
I think I give them something to look forward to. I give them a chance to travel to new places, experience different ways of living, different ways of acting, communicating skills. We really have to work on, you know, being like a family and being able to talk about things and work things out, because they, you know, it's a new family for them, and you know, when they come from their own families, they have to readjust how they communicate and how they work with other people when they come to the troupe.
Me and my mom lived in this house, but we have 3 bedrooms. And here is my closet. These are like my coats and stuff, and then it goes, well, hold on, there's pants to go over here. Then it goes like the shirts, and then my pants, and then these are all my sneakers. It goes Nikes, Reeboks, that Adidas thing, but because it couldn't fit down here, and then felines, and then like sandals and shoes and Airwalks and stuff. I went to a foster home and like when I was in like 2nd grade, and then I came back and like things still like everything just wasn't the same. I mean everything was good at home, but I don't know. I like had like problems ever since I was 5. At like when 5-year-olds like you expect for like 5-year-olds to have fun and stuff, but like I was always worrying. Like I used to like worry, like I worry now when I was 5. So that's why I think I have like all these problems with my stomach and stuff, like all these ulcers, because I'm always worrying. Well, we all got split up. Like we were all like my brother went to like this other place, and me and my sisters were at this one place. We had fun just like playing the swing and stuff. But I always like thought about my mom every day because I was like 5 years old, so I wanted to go home and stuff. This right here is my brother Steven.
Yo.
Say hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
He's my older brother.
Hi.
He's also my best friend. We're cool like that.
That's true.
And Steven has 2 kids. Well, he has one on the way. Steven Jr.
Yep. And I'm gonna have a few more.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try.
He's gonna have a whole herd of kids. And
just 2 right now.
Steven's going back to school next year, right, Steven?
Yep. And I want to be just like you. No, I want to graduate. I'm not lying. I do want to graduate. I'm not complaining.
That's good.
But I want to go to college and play ball.
Yeah, he's a big basketball player. But if he don't go to school, then he can't play basketball. So, you gotta go to school so he can play basketball.
I agree. I agree.
It's not gonna be exciting.
No problem. Anytime.
My mom's the best. I love her so much. She's my mom, my dad, my friend, my sister. She's just awesome.
How long have you guys been married?
18 years. They're like really down to earth. Like all my friends like love my mom. They're just like fall in love. Actually, I used to have friends that just come over to talk to my mom. Like even I wasn't here, they would like sit outside and like talk to my mom. And my mom was like, "Well, I gotta go. My show is on." And they just stay outside and they just love my mom. They just say she's so cute and all this.
And what about your dad?
What about him?
I don't know.
Oh, you wanna know his name?
No, just kind of.
He's a deadbeat. He don't do nothing for me. He just created me, I guess. I don't call him dad. If I see him, I'm always like, Steven, what's your father? Or if he calls me, I'm like, Steven, their dad wants you. Because he's not even my father. My mother is my mother and father.
When I was little, and my mom put me in the t-ball and all that stuff, and she took me to buy a glove. It was a little plastic glove, but it was still a thought. And I tried to play t-ball with that, but it was plastic. That was pretty funny, now that I look back. Because she didn't really know, but she just wanted me to do things. So then she went out and she got me a real glove, and she used to like pass with me, and my mom used to do everything with me.
He was here when I was little for probably 3 years, and then my mom kicked him out because he's just a bum.
We do the football together, the baseball, and I take basketball season off.
Yeah, I coach him since he was in T-ball for baseball, and I'm a player rep for Pop Warner.
Yeah, we do stuff he took me to a truck show once, take me to a basketball game. We do stuff. I help him work. He helps me play sports. We're always together.
I don't really see my dad that much. The last time I saw him was my birthday. I don't even think I saw him. I think he sent the gift down. He's a deadbeat dad. That's all I have to say about him.
They're pretty strict. The only thing I think they're strict about is my curfew. I'm almost 17, I have to be in at 10 o'clock. And there's 6th graders here. They're 13 or 12. It can be until 1.
I feel I'm a good kid, and I owe it all to my mom and my dad. Because if it wasn't for my dad not always being there and promising me things and me always getting my heart broken, then I wouldn't be the kind of person I am today. I would take everything for granted, but I don't. I know that there's always that doubt, and that's good because you can't live in a fantasy world always thinking that everything will turn out right. So I like to thank my dad for that.
At the time, DC, there was a lot of tension between each other.
Sometimes people on the troupe can really aggravate you.
At that trip, there was a lot of emotional things going on with a lot of different people. It was a real emotional time for everyone. I think everyone had something.
We had one girl who actually just started really hanging around with people that were dealing drugs and doing drugs all the time, and she was with them constantly. And finally I told her she had to choose between them and being on the troupe, because she can't condone one lifestyle when she's standing against it.
Jackie doesn't like kicking anyone off. I mean, she only kicked off 2 people ever since I've been on it. And
I've learned the hard way that, you know, the kids that rely on you the most are the ones that tend to not really appreciate it in the end, which is kind of backwards. You wouldn't expect that. But they, and then when you start giving them space and expecting them to start taking on responsibility when they get a little older, they resent you for the tough love, you know. So it's I've actually kind of pulled back on my boundaries a little bit, and there's still a couple that are left that I'm very close to. Yeah, she's more like a sister. You know, we're very close that way, and she tells me everything that's going on with her.
Well, she's always there for me. Like, I don't know which story to pick, but I guess when my friend Kristen, she was murdered, Jackie was there, and the day I found out, Jackie came over to my house and she just held me.
Kia was just a mess. I mean, she didn't even know what, she was like shaking and didn't know what to do. So I actually took her out, and we went around the Ocean Drive by the water and just kind of let her just, I don't know, we just kind of went someplace bigger than where she was, just so she knows that life is bigger.
You see stuff all the time on TV about like the husband killing his wife and the 2 kids and himself, and it doesn't really faze you, but when it's close to home, you realize that you need to do something about it.
That whole part of it being so close was real shocking, but I definitely think that it didn't stop us by any means. If anything, it pulled us more together, and you know, that was one, you know, isolated incident, and it was horrible, but that's not gonna stop our positive message at all.
It was dancing for Kristen, and what we did was we danced in front of the Bank of Newport for like not even 3 hours, and we made over $900. So it really touched people, and people cared, and they wanted to help the family pay for like the wake and all that stuff.
It was an eye-opener for us as far as violence goes. I mean, because you hear about violence, you know, in all these places, and you never really think it's gonna happen in your neighborhood.
I just thought violence happened through kids, no adults do violence. I was in that bubble, only kids do violence, and going off to these big perfect people, you know.
I think that maybe made them vulnerable, maybe that could happen to them. You know, it's just so close, and then just the fear of death and all that was just, you know, then they were afraid that she was gonna haunt them and be around, you know, try to make them think that she'd be more like an angel to them.
Even though she was murdered and it was a sad thing, it made a lot of people wake up. We built this garden down there for her. We put up like a gazebo and a seat, and it just brought everyone together. And after that, I changed. I was like the Grinch who stole Christmas. My heart grew bigger, and I just felt, I don't know, a lot of love afterwards.
Is it difficult for a white woman to teach hip-hop, to be involved in the hip-hop world?
Yes. Yes, it is. I actually didn't realize it until a couple of years ago that it was, well, I would realize it here and there because we would go to performances, the kids would perform, and then all these other young black kids would come up and say, oh, we want to get involved, who do we talk to? And they'd point to me, and they'd be like, you could just see their face like, why her? You know, and they would be blown away that it was me that was the one running the whole thing. And so I got a lot of that, you know, which was okay, because as long as they saw the kids first, you know, they would know that, you know, I'm okay.
Race is not an issue on Off the Curb. We allow anyone. I mean, our choreographer, for one, was looked down on, you know, a little bit because she was white. Like at first, when we first used to go places, like if we used to go to Boston or New York, and people would come up to us and either think I was a choreographer or Kia was the choreographer. They just assumed that the choreographer was black, you know, and that whoever put this together, all this hip hop stuff, they had to be black, they had to be, you know, something. And then Jackie would come out, you know, and she's white, but she's the bomb.
And really, is, you know, have a white woman working with the black children is really, you know, it's not accepted, even still. I actually had one parent of a dancer who, the dancer's not with us anymore, call me and said that they wish a black woman was doing this. And she just kind of like totally laid into me, you know, she just hopes that a black woman would come out of somewhere and take over and be the person. You know, they see a mixed troupe and I'm sure they don't expect the white kids to get up there and dance like the black kids do, you know. But, you know, I have to say that when the kids are on, they get respect from everybody. Like, they're not really looked down upon by any race, you know, because, you know, once they're dancing, they see their talent. Even the singers, you know, here's these two white girls singing hip-hop R&B songs, and they get respected because they're good at what they do, you know. And like little Sean, every single, you know, black, white, green, any person, when they see him dancing and performing, they're just blown away, and they all respect them, you know, that way.
I must have did it. If it's not, then I wasn't with it. Bad boy, stay committed. Whether hip hop or R&B, featuring OTC, co-starring me. P. Diddy, you know I got the key to your city. Unlock the door, rock some more. BC Lake, bad boy, heat the push. We roll R&B too because we keep the faith. Giving the street the taste, blaze the shot. I remember.
It's just a group of kids dancing. It doesn't matter what color, like, my friend, like, the person over there is in that line. I don't really care what color they are. They're my friends, and I just have fun with them.
Hip-hop has been stereotyped for a long time as a black thing. But when you come to Off the Curb show, you see
all different people.
All kind of people involved.
Of all different ages.
They know how to dance. If you know how to dance, if you got any kind of rhythm, you can be involved with Off the Curb.
They don't look at him as a color. They see Lance for the person that he is. You don't stereotype him. You can't stereotype him because he's his own person.
Well, they see my brother wearing these big baggy jeans and black sneakers, and here I am just wearing like jeans that fit me and white sneakers, and the way I dress. They say I dress like a sailor boy. So that just the name just saying that you dress like a white boy. And they say I enunciate my words. I speak proper. Compared to my brother who's like, yo. So they just say, the white boy. And here we have people in my class like, oh, that's why I hate white people or whatever. And I'm like, how could you even say that, you know? Then it makes me feel like I'm a geek because I'm like sticking up for what I believe. And then they'd be like, just shut up, white boy, you know, whatever, you know. So, I don't know, people just have nothing else to talk about. But they talk about moving forward, but all they seem like they just want to go back, you know?
The majority of the people here is white, but you have a small group of Asian people, a small group of black people, and a small group of everything around here. And that's the only bad thing about it. So you bring all these things together, and sometimes people don't get along. But that's anywhere.
Newport's pretty diverse. It's a lot more diverse than people think it is.
There's projects in Newport, like there's projects everywhere else. Believe me, Newport has so much going on behind the scenes. It's not even, there's so much dirt that goes on. But see, the cops keep that away from, it's all, like, it's segregated.
Oh, one thing I like people to know is that it's just a regular town. They see all that glitz and glamour, and they think, ooh, wow. Not everybody here lives like that. You know, we have just normal working people, making a normal pay.
And have you always lived in Newport? Or?
Always.
Yes, I was born and raised in Newport.
She's graduating. She doesn't have a kid. She's not even having sex or anything like that. Not that I know of. But I mean, she's just like, she's more focused on her school and herself, and she just has a lot of goals for herself, which is good. I mean, not to say that I didn't, but I just got pregnant, at a young age, and by the time I was her age, I already had a 2-year-old. Well, how old is she? 17. Well, I had my son already at her age, but
a lot of girls in my class were pregnant or are pregnant or have had kids, and that's sad. Right now I don't have time to have a serious relationship to pull me down, and not pull me down, but then I'll, you know, you have to do boyfriend-girlfriend things all the time. Like, you have to be together sometimes. You have to go out and, I don't know, like, I don't have time for that right now because I have to work and go to school, and I'll probably meet someone in college.
I don't know, it just feels good that my little sister is really doing something. I know so many girls her age who are just basically doing things that I was doing at their age, you know? I think Off the Curb, it's done a lot of good for her because I think it just made her realize that there's more out there than just Newport, Rhode Island. You know, she knows that there's, I mean, they travel, they go to different countries, they're always going somewhere.
I couldn't believe that I was like going to Portugal. That was the first time I ever been on a plane my whole entire life, and the plane ride was like 8 hours long. So I was like the whole like first 2 hours of the plane ride, I just held Jackie's hand, and she was in the seat in front of me. So I was like hanging over the seat, like in between the seat, just looking at her, just holding on, because I was scared of the plane.
Allison, I had to like just buy her ticket, tell her she didn't have a choice. She'd have to pay me back for the ticket. You know, I forced her to go because she thought she was going to die on the plane. And it was just exciting for them. It was exciting for us to go, for Off the Curb to go on a plane somewhere.
She was like, well, we have to do some fundraising if we want to go. She's like, it's not definite yet. We have to raise $10,000.
Our goal was $10,000. We raised $9,000. The morning we started putting our stuff in the car to go to the airport, someone had told me that we received a $1,000 grant from the Rotary Club, the Newport Rotary Club, and that made us reach our goal. And we found out the day we were leaving that we reached our goal. So just sort of little angels taking care of us.
My mom was like, I can't just go there and get you if something's not okay, but she trusts Jackie, so she let me go.
These kids, you know, since we started Off the Curb, we've stayed in like the best hotels, and, you know, it was totally different. You know, when you opened up the door to their room, it was like opening up a door to like a old German hospital ward with like 20 beds.
Lie down, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Tell me what you think of these rooms.
The rooms, they're dusty.
They're real ghetto.
Ew. Because they're from Watts. The rooms are fine. It's the bathrooms that I don't like.
No, the bathroom stinks. The bathroom straight up stinks like.
But this is Europe, so it was like a refugee camp house, something. It was just like a whole bunch of rooms in a hallway. It was like 10 beds in one room, and that's all that was in the room was like 10 beds in a row. And so we just put all the beds together and like made one giant bed, and then we all just piled up in there, and that was fun.
I was like, when we first got there, I was like, because you saw those kids running there, I was like, wow, like, this is where we're gonna stay at, all these little kids.
I don't even think we had any breakfast. I think it was rolls. Rolls and whatever drink we had left over from last night, unless you wanted coffee. It wasn't too good.
And just seeing the kids, you know, in another culture, and how they, you know, started off like thinking, you know, we were staying in a shelter, and by the end they were like, didn't want to leave it.
I didn't want to come back. Like the first, that was another thing about Portugal, is that was the longest time we ever went away for. We went away for 7 days. And the first 2 days, I wanted to go home. Because I didn't like where we were staying. It was kind of like run down. There was like a lot of dirt everywhere. By the end of it, after meeting all those people and having so much fun, I wanted to stay, and I really didn't want to come home. Plus, I didn't want to get on the plane.
I don't know, I like the little town square. Like, I don't know if it's a town square, but where we performed at. Like that little town square, we spent like hours in there.
These children have taken to the kinetic expression of dance like I don't see often. So I'm very grateful to have an opportunity to see them perform, and they'll grow into magnificent dancers. Give children a voice, and give them a voice, an active voice, through a kinetic medium, and you can't fail. And you see it right there. You see it with the kids. You see how they cooperate together. You see their teamwork. You see their group spirit.
It's really exciting to see hip-hop really taken
to the level of an art form. Socioculturally speaking, it is wonderful, really, to see a true level of integration between black kids and white kids, and it really working out. I'm sure differences are settled through dance.
I think they like this a lot. We opened up their eyes to, like, you know, a total different style, and I think if we were to go back, they would you know, be trying to pick up our style a lot. Like their choreography would be a lot better. There'd be a lot more going on in what they were doing. I think we were inspiration to them.
What did you think about the curve? They were great.
They're fantastic.
Fantastic. Yeah. I didn't really think they knew as much about hip hop as they did, because just by looking at them, they didn't look like they did hip hop. And then when they did it, it was like a lot of Frenchy stuff. It wasn't like hardcore, like Busta Rhymes. It would be like Salt and Pepper or something. But it was hip hop, and I didn't expect that.
Hip hop is kind of new here in Portugal.
What we see,
that's the reason.
Probably
of the difference.
I love it because it's so free. And now when I saw you do the group, you're so good and so young, and I felt I should be born in USA because I love it.
On your case, it's growing up on the street. So it's basically, you have there, on every corner, you have people dancing or whatever. And here we are trying, first we're trying to get it on the gyms, so we can have people doing it and everything and learning. But we take it all from what we see on TV.
Jackie was telling me that there's like, their hip hop is still, like they had like a rivalry thing going on, like all the hip hop places from different like cities or whatever, they would have hip hop, but they would never integrate with the other hip hop people. And it was kind of like Off the Curb made history for them because we brought like 5 different hip hop groups together under one roof, dancing together, taking a hip hop class together.
The freedom of speech we do with our body. I think that's great, and that's all.
We can do everything in hip hop.
Yeah.
We can put all the dances together in hip hop, I guess. Yeah. You agree with me?
Yeah, I agree with you.
All of a sudden I didn't have a father, and I just try to keep reinforcing to the kids that life is short and you don't know what's going to happen, and relationships are, the love and the stuff you share is more important than the things you do and making money. And
that was a hard time for Off the Curb because everyone is so close to Jackie. Like that's one thing about Off the Curb. Everyone is kind of like a close-knit family. And we all get along, and we all get into fights, and we all get on each other's nerves, but we all come back to each other. And that's how Off the Curb is. It was just a sad time because it was like, Jackie always had to deal with our problems and what we were going through. And that was like the first time that we actually had to deal with something that she was going through. And that was one time that we had to pull together and be there for her. And it wasn't all about her being there for us at one time.
Jackie took a couple weeks off. But we still had to stay tight as a group and come together because we knew that Jackie couldn't be there because she had other stuff to do. So we just did what we had to do.
It actually made us closer together because here we are a group that we always do stuff with the director there, and here we are doing a performance, a full performance with no director there.
I mean, I was happy that they did it. I felt bad that they had to do it, but they did what they had to do.
We also reminded ourselves that Jackie's not always going to be there, and we're going to have to step up and try to do things for ourselves sometimes. We had to, put the sound equipment together ourselves and make sure our lines were together and do a good performance and not be sad while we were doing it,
She was all upset and stuff, but she knew that if she felt uncomfortable around us or she felt she was going to cry, something that we would comfort her and we understand her pain and stuff.
I think the whole thing has changed my whole life, The whole event changed who I am. I know that Allison just told you guys about her being suspended for a couple of weeks from performing, and I just want to tell you the reason, because I think a couple of you guys are doing the same thing, and your mom's already talked to me, is, the story that she told us in Playback on Friday about getting mad at her teacher and throwing a test in her face and calling her a bitch and just not cool for off the curb member. And I've talked to Allison about a couple other things as far as attitude or her personal life or whatever. And I'm not playing anymore. You know, I don't want kids in school who are talking back to the teachers, who are getting sent down to the dean, who are having bad attitudes, you know, that their parents call me to talk to them because they're having bad conduct. I said, you're a reflection of this group. And like we've been saying, and you guys have been noticing that, you know, Friday night we almost got rushed. You know, after that performance, you guys almost got rushed because they were going to maul you, you know. You're getting bigger, you're getting more well-known, your teachers know who you are, and off the curb, you guys are getting a lot of good experiences. Just having that feeling of people wanting to be next to you is an incredible experience for your age and, you know, for what you do. And it has to carry that. You can't just live off the curb just for that part of it, to be in the glory and to have all the good stuff. And then when you go home on the weekends, you go to the party and smoke weed, or you go you wise off to your mother, or you go to school and you get sent down to the dean, or you have bad attitude. I mean, it has to go hand in hand. The whole thing has to be a package. And this is the first time I've ever done anything like this, and as far as suspending someone just because of attitude, but it has to happen, and it'll keep happening from now on. About 3 weeks ago, I had a talk with them because I've been getting really discouraged with them. And with Off the Curb, I mean, I was ready to quit. I mean, I came in one morning, I was ready to just put everything in boxes. Things trigger me off in ways they didn't used to, you know, and if I feel like it's not worth my energy, then I won't do it. I don't know if it's a positive thing or a negative thing, but at that point, I just was really discouraged, and I just felt like there was, you know, no point in continuing. And I don't have a problem in not letting anyone perform. You know, because I care about the message. I put 7 years into it, and if you guys don't care about the message, and I keep saying this, don't do it anymore, please, because it's killing me to know that you're just bullshitting me and the people around you and the whole thing. It's ridiculous. Don't like it, don't want it. It's painful. It's painful for me to hear her talk like that. You know, it's painful for me to hear any of that.
I got suspended from Off the Curb for 2 weeks. And at first I was kind of mad, but as I come on thinking about it, I'm happy that she did that to me. She's not playing no more games no more. She's really serious about this whole situation.
I told him, I said, I can't keep going on doing this if you guys don't do anything to help. And I said, you're older now. You guys are 18 and 19 years old, and this troupe could be so much further if you guys took some kind of initiative and responsibility and created something, or, you know, get an idea and go with it and take us to another level. I said, if I keep doing it myself, I said, we're going to just self-destruct because I'm just running out of energy. And I think my frustration was that they're all getting older, but they're all still expecting me to do everything. Actually, the troupe is going to be running the audition today. Kia, Lydell, and Lance made up the choreography. Kia's going to be teaching all the choreography, and Grace is going to do registration, and all the kids are going to help as far as practicing with the kids. And our goal from 2 to 3 is to have a fun dance class, so all the kids that are coming will have fun and be relaxed, so that it's not too nervous, not intimidating or anything like that. And then from 3 to 4, the judges come in and actually do the judging of the participants.
Oh, well, today is totally different because I'm on the other end now. I'm a judge, and I'm not having to, you know, be nervous and all that. I guess you could say, like, we've all come a long way. We were auditioning then, and now we're, you know, part of it, and now we're judges. Choreographing, meeting a lot of people, you know, enjoying ourselves.
It was interesting because this year both of these guys were really involved in basketball. So they were gone a lot anyway for like 3 months, almost 4 months in the winter, and the rest of the troupe still gave really powerful performances. They were right on, they filled in where they needed to fill in. They just we're right there. So as far as confidence level in the troupe and having these guys move on, it's sad that they're going because they've been a part of it for so long. But I also have confidence in the group that's staying behind, and hopefully we'll have new people coming in that will just, you know, fill in those gaps. So it's sad for, it's like an end of an era.
But it is, it's sad, like, thinking that new people are gonna come in. I mean, it's a good thing because you're gonna have new energy and everything, but it's gonna be sad having people move on and knowing that we have to reform the group, kinda, to a new group of people.
This is my cap and gown for my graduation tomorrow. I will be graduating. Something I thought I would never ever do, but I guess I'm gonna do it.
I mean, I went to Ohio last summer for basketball, and I was gone for a week, and I was having withdrawals, so I'm gonna be off the curve for the rest of my life once I'm off of it, and that would be hard.
Allison Nicole McCalla. Akia Marie Nebbs.
No, not just hip hop. I want to do jazz, modern, African dance, any of that. I'll take some ballet, whatever I have to do to get where I want to be. So that's what I'm going to do.
I just love New York. Yeah. Act. And maybe be in a Broadway musical or something, but I can't sing, so I guess that will never happen. I don't know, it's so big, so much action, and something's always happening. That's where I want to be.
I'm out as soon as I graduate out of high school. I want to New York. Well, I want to go to New York. I want to be an athletic trainer.
Do you know what you want to be when you grow up? Probably a dancer. I think I want to be a homicide detective. Really? Yeah. Why not? Where did that come from? I was watching TV and I don't know. But I heard that you don't get a lot of money down here because there's no homicides. So.
Sean thinks he's going to be a sports hero. I don't know if it's baseball or
He wants to play basketball.
basketball. He thinks he's going to go to, North Carolina, and then he's going to be in the NBA. That's his life story right there. Unless, of course, he's big on MTV, then he'll be all set.
I want to be on stage, I want to be in videos, and that's just, you're taking it all in, you're knowing that these people are screaming for you, and you've done a good job for them, and that's where you want to be. Every chance I get, I go to New York and I visit my grandma. She lives in Brooklyn, and I go to Manhattan and I take dance classes and I ask about auditions and stuff like that. And so now I feel like if I did have to go, I think I would be a little bit more ready. So I do see myself in New York, Manhattan, dancing.
I want to work with kids though. I want to be like a social worker, I think. Just because I've been through a lot through my whole life, so I know like I want to work with kids out like me. Not like me, but have the same problems I did, because I had such a wrecked life.
Where do the kids turn when their homes start to burn? Where do our kids go when their parents have no show? Our streets are crying and our children are lying in pain, in darkness, with no joy. Who can save them before they're destroyed?
I got my mind made up, come on. Get it, let it ride. Tonight's the night. I got my mind made up, come on. Get it, let it ride. Tonight's the night. Yeah, come on. You know you were free before the album went platinum. Your heart is beating, now you're getting rented. Gassed off the chrome rims and 20-room mansion. I rent with them, yeah. I'm feeling how you shake it, rings in your belly. I can't take it, thoughts up your mow it. Money make it, last week run, tonight butt naked. I got the flavor, make a zoom. The LL Cool J, but give me room. Look up in my eyes as I lower the phone. 20,000 freaks packed up in one room. All I wanna do is zoom. What you wanna do? What you wanna do? All I wanna do is zoom. What you wanna do?
And we out.
That's Off the Curve.
Man, look at the sky. Oh, the stars, man, the stars are beautiful tonight. Look at them.
Superstar, that is what you are. Coming from afar, reaching for the stars. Run away with me to another place. And rely on each other. From one corner to another.
Yeah. Some got hopes and dreams, we got ways and means. The supreme dream team, always up with a scheme. From hubcap to selling raps, name your theme. I'm a rise to the top, floating on the screen. Who the hell wanna stop me? I hated those who doubt me. A million refugees with unlimited warranties. Black Caesar, dating top divas. Diplomat immunities, no time for a visa. It just begun. I'ma shoot them one by one. Got 5 sides to me, something like a pentagon. Strike with the forces of King Solomon. Letting bygone be bygone, and so on and so on. I'ma teach these cats how to live in the ghetto, keeping it retro, expected from the get-go. Lay low, let my mind shine like a halo. For politics with ghetto senators on the D-Lo.
Superstar, that is what you are. Coming from afar, reaching for the stars. Run away with me to another place. And rely on each other. From one corner to another.
1, 2, and you don't stop, yo. My eyes are sore, being a senator behind closed doors, hitting truth to the seafloor. The rich don't north ignore the tug of war, while the kids are poor, open new and better drugstores. So I became hardcore, couldn't take it no more. I'ma reveal everything, change the law. I find myself walking the streets, trying to find what's really going on in the streets. Now every dog got its day, needless to say. When the chief away, that's when the cats wanna play. I told you, dance around you fools like Cassius Clay. Stretch my heat and make you do a pot of parade. Kick your balls like Pele, pick 'em doing ballet. Peak like Dante, broader than Broadway. Get applause like a matador, cry yelling ole. Who the hell wanna say me from BK to Calais? Come on,
That is what you are. Coming from afar, reaching for the stars. Run away with me to another place. And rely on each other. From one corner to another.
yeah. It's when you thought it was safe in a commonplace. Showcase your finances, lose a bass on the horse race. 2 phase, getting D-phase out like Scarface. Stole your road money, let me put on my screw face.
And I'm paranoid at the things I say, wondering what's the penalty from day to day. I'm hanging out partying with girls that never die. The CEO's picking on the small fries, my campaign telling lies. I was just spreading my love, didn't know my love was the one holding the gun in the glove. Well, this all good as long as it's understood. It's all together now in the hood.